Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will try to cover the introduction of SAP S4HANA Public Cloud. So, in ECC, supports for multiple databases like Oracle, SQL or DB2, whereas S4HANA runs only on the HANA database. The data is stored in a row-based format in ECC, whereas in S4 the data is stored in the column-based format. The main advantage of data storing in column-based is generally in a standard table we have a large number of columns. But while fetching the data from the database, we doesn't require all the columns to be used. We generally use only the few columns based on our requirement. So since S4HANA is having this column based format, the performance is improved a lot while reading the data from the database. And also, as it has an in-memory database, data always resides in the main memory. Another advantage of S4HANA is like in ECC, if we want to log into the SAP system, it needs to be only through a desktop based where an SAP GI will be installed in the system. Through that app we could be able to log in. But as S4HANA Public Cloud runs through a web-based UI, the UI could be login not only through desktop, but we could be able to log in either through tablet or the mobile. That's the main advantage that we have with S4. If we compare like that, we have so many other advantages, but technically, to go further, uh, I would like to introduce few technological terms that we will be using in future. SAP Central Business Configuration. So in ECC, if you are aware of a T code SPRO, it is generally used to configure the information as per your company. For example, I have a company where there are a lot of customers from across the world to my company. So each customer, each country, each region will be differentiated in the system, needs to be differentiated in the system, or needs to be added technically in the system through a configuration. So, for example, for my company, any new customer is added. That new customer information need to be added in the system technically. It need to be added through configuration. All these is handled through a T code called SPRO, like building the organizational structure or activating the business process like sale order to cash cycle, or defining the core finance settings like group currencies, fiscal years, everything. Any configuration changes is handled by the functional through an SPRO decode. The same information in S4 is handled through a app called Manage Your Solution. Okay. Extensibility. We have three type of extensibilities in S4HANA Public Cloud. Key user or in-app extensibility, developer or on-stack extensibility, side-by-side extensibility. Key user extensibility. Nothing but user or a functional or a technical person could be able to log in the system. As I told, SAP, we will be able to log in through an web UI app. It has all the any information will be seen in a Fiori app. For example, if we want to create a sales order, there is an app called Create Sales Order, Display Sales Order. How we have a transaction called VA01 in ECC. Similar way, VA01 is nothing but here Create Sales Order. The app name is. As we used to run everything through a transaction code, here we will be running everything through a Fiori app. But when coming to writing the logic, only in the S4 HANA we have two types: key user or developer extensible. Develop Key user is nothing but not only the technical person, any business user or any functional or any technical person who could be able to add the changes without having the deep technical knowledge. Nothing but a low code or the no code extension. Like any specific configuration changes. You will be confused now, right? As I told, configuration is maintained through SAP Central Business Configuration. Correct? Let me give you an example here. I have added a new sales organization in the system. Okay? That we will be adding through an app called Manage Your Solution. Now, the same sales organization, if I want to create a sales order, I need to have the document type for that sales organization. I need to have the distribution channel. I need to have the division, relevant division. All these configuration will be handled as it is specific to that particular sales organization. This configuration is maintained through a key user or in-app extensibility. Or in ECC, whenever we want to add any custom field to a standard table, consider the same example. While for the sales order header information, if I want to add a custom field in ECC, we will be creating a structure. We used to append that particular structure to the standard table, VBAK. But in S4, there is an app called Create Custom Field, where we will be providing the business context as sales order header information will with the custom name. With the naming convention, we will create the custom field. We will be having an option whether this particular custom field need to be enabled in the screen level, whether this custom field need to be enabled for any APIs, or is this custom field need to be enabled for any CDS views, any form templates need to be activated for all these information. Based on your requirement, we will be enabled for that custom field and we will publish it. Once it's published, it will be automatically adjusted in the standard logic level. Accordingly, it will be seen. For example, if the same custom field, if I want to appear it in the screen level, In ECC, we used to use the screen painter, and that particular screen painter we used to modify according our requirement, like whether it needs to be grayed out, whether it needs to have any input condition or any validations, or if we how to fill the value for that custom field we used to implement through an user exit. Whereas in key user, through a create custom field, whether that it needs to be enabled in the screen level, and through the custom logic, as custom logic is nothing but the enhancement for the standard logic. Not much coding is required. It's like basic knowledge of coding also we could be able to write it based on our business context. And any screen level changes need to be handled either through create custom fields or through adapt UI. So it's like low code or no code. Like not only it, very much deep technical knowledge is required for doing changes in the key user extensibility. Is generally the key user extensibility is done through a web, in a simple way, in a web UI. Any changes that is happening through a web UI, web fear UI theory based app in the customizing tenant, then it's key user or an in-app extensibility. Now you will get a doubt. In ECC, any configuration changes, we will be moving through a customizing TR, either to the quality system and then to the production system. How we will be handling this information? There is a concept of software collection where the data, any modification that happened or any addition of new changes that happen will be stored in that software collection, and with the help of release team those changes are deployed to either quality system or production system through the SAP CALM tool, nothing but SAP Cloud ALM tool. What is developer extensibility? In a simple way, developer extensibility is nothing but writing most of the logic where person who is the developer, nothing but a technical person, could be able to only achieve, or blind to say any how we have SAP GUI in ECC, in S4 any technical changes that needs more of coding is done through a ADT in the Eclipse. Like for example, in ECC, whenever we got a requirement to create a custom report and schedule a batch job, in SC38, we'll create a custom report, and that report will be scheduling a batch job. Correct, to SM36 or SM37, we will check the status of that batch job. Whereas in S4, we don't have any reports. We will be having only the concept of classes and methods. So that particular report is handled through a ABAP class. That particular class name is assigned to a job template. And once the job template is created, we have an option called app theory app called application job, where we will be providing our job template and also the input parameters for that batch job if you have any, and then we will be scheduling a batch job. either hourly basis or daily basis. So more, scheduling the batch job is only handled in the key user as it is happening through a application job. Whereas writing the logic, creating a job template, writing the logic in the class is everything happened in the Eclipse system. Consider another example. There is we got a requirement where a custom query app is required, okay, for the user. So in S4 HANA Public Cloud, we need to, for creating any custom query app, we need to create a backend wrap service that needs to be provided to the SAP Business Application Studio. With that backend wrap service that got created with the help of the query tools, we will be developing and deploying it as a query app. For example, uh, consider a custom app that requires 5 to 6 fields. For that 5 to 6 fields, a custom table needs to be created, interface view needs to be created for fetching the data, consumption view is created for viewing the data in the query screen level, metadata, the structure of that screen fields, like what's the position of each field, and any input validation is required, any for help is required as input parameters, any validation that needs to be happened, everything through behavior definition or behavior implementation, service definition, service binding, and that particular service binding is nothing but the web UI that will be given to the SAP Business Application Studio, nothing but BAS, where Node.js will be used to utilize this service with the query tools for developing and deploying the changes as a app that we are seeing here, like an example how we are seeing the manage your solution. In the similar way, one more app will be created with the custom, and a role will be assigned by the authorization team for that particular custom app, so that only the users who has access for that particular role only could be able to view that app. Okay, hope it's clear. Now for key user, any modification is saved in a software collection, and the release team will help to move these changes to quality and production. For developer extensibility, any modification will be saved in a TR, similar to how it is used to save in a ECC. There will be a TR with a task, subtask, and the objects that were modified or added or deleted, and those changes through the SAP Cloud ALM, it is deployed to quality and the production systems. Side by side extensibility is nothing but a separate application which is not relevant to the S4 HANA, which is not utilizing the S4 HANA database. Nothing but a business technology platform which is running independently but utilizing the data in the S4 for reading through a API and fulfilling the customer requirements. Like for example, there will be a requirements where a custom app, any third party users or any other user who doesn't have the access of SAP. They need a custom application that, based on their requirement needs, they want that custom app either to do raise some request, any other changes. For that they need the information first, right? So from S4 system the information is read through an API and will be displayed in the custom app. Accordingly the user, according to their needs, they will select that and they will proceed further in that custom app. Hope it's clear. Now, in S4 HANA Public Cloud, we have a two-tier and a three-tier architecture. As I told you, the main advantage of this SAP Central Business Configuration is generally S every year through an upgrade, SAP releases the latest changes or any deprecated changes, inform the any deprecated changes as it is a public cloud. All these information sometimes may affect the configuration changes. That's the reason SAP came up with this SAP Central Business Configuration concept, and also to secure most of the global data. Now in the two-tier architecture, we have only the quality system and the production system. Quality system acts as both development system and the quality system. Like any object will be developed and tested in the same system, and once the test is successful, it is deployed to the production system. The main disadvantage of this system is like development and quality is in the same system. We couldn't be able to, any modification is happening, it may affect for the user testing, one thing, and the second thing is like there won't be real data. As both development and quality systems, it's like most of the time it will be like most of the dummy data. So there are most chances of this. Generally in the companies, I think they will use this three-tier landscape. So in three-tier landscape, mainly we have the development system, test system, and the production system. Development system, we have again development tenant and customizing tenant. Development tenant is nothing but any logic that is written through Eclipse, I could say, is will be in the development tenant. But the actual testing data will be seen in the customizing tenant. So blindly to say any key user extensibility changes need to be done in the customizing tenant, and any testing will be done, like basic testing needs to be done in the customizing tenant. So any changes that has been done will be deployed from development system through a TR and customizing tenant through a software collection to the test tenant system by the release team through a SAP Cloud ALM tool, similarly to the production system. Now we'll be getting the doubt, what is this main line? Main line is nothing but a workspace that will be used for the business go live. The main line will be nothing but the customizing tenant, the test tenant, and the production tenant. Like any changes that happen in the development system will be deployed from customizing tenant to the test system and then to the production system. This is the main process of company follows. Parallel line is a concept where it's a separate workspace that is created to develop and test the changes without disrupting the live business. Consider an example. There was, there was a requirement that needs to be developed for the US country, and the requirement is developed and tested and deployed in the production, or consider it is running in the UAT, means it will be in the test system, the changes. And we got another requirement where the same change need to be similar requirement need to be enhanced for the Germany country. So if we try to add any configuration changes or any modifications in the existing changes, it may affect the testing of the US country. Correct? To avoid this, SAP come up with the concept parallel line where we have three options: branch, rebase, and merge. Branch means we through branch the main line, whatever the data, the configuration or the changes or the logic that has been added for the US country, or any changes in the system that is there in the customizing tenant, will be copied into a new parallel customizing tenant, nothing but a copy of the system with a different client. Once the data is copied, now it won't affect the existing US country. So, existing US country could be able to test their changes in the main line, whereas new country Germany can try to add any configurations or any modifications that can extend from US to Germany. They can add those configurations in the parallel customizing tenant. Correct? But you might get a doubt in the meantime, whenever after copying the changes, if the US country during their testing, if they came up with any additional requirement or any enhancement, and those changes were done in the main line, now the systems will not be in the sync. So to make these systems sync in the parallel line, we have a second concept called rebase. Once the system is copied, if any recent changes happened in the main line, to pull those update into the parallel line and make both the clients in be synchronization, the rebase is used. Whereas merge, as I told, parallel customizing tenant is used for the Germany country and customizing tenant is for the US country. Now, the Germany country has developed the configuration changes or developed the logic changes, and they have tested it and they felt everything is fine. They can't deploy it directly into the production because we will be having only one production system that is used by the business user for go live. So, through a merge concept, we will move the changes that are developed in the parallel line back to the main line development system and then deploy to production system. The main advantage is like of this parallel concept is like it won't affect the existing business. And if we want to check any feasibility, whether it's possible or not, that could be able to check through this parallel line concept. Hope my video is clear till now. If you have any queries or any suggestions, do let me know. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.